we had to announce here. This was another one of these precision prizes. This was the CGA 1741 prize, and that was to celebrate the year of York's founding, which was 1741. The organization that received the very first donation at 5:41 p.m., 1741 military time, received an extra $500 thanks to CGA Law Firm. You guys, I was going through these donations, and it was literally down to the millisecond. It was obscene. I had to scroll through all these pages. You guys were trying to hit this prize so hard, and I'm happy to announce that the winner of the CGA 1741 prize is the Furry Friends Network. Congratulations, you are the 1741 prize winner. We're heading into some prizes here. We'll have announcements for the OSS Happy Hour prize. From 7 to 8 p.m., it is the York Revolution 7th Inning Stretch Prize. We're going to catch a second wind. All gifts up to $50 will be matched by the Revs until the $1,000 match pool has been completely depleted. So that's from 7 to 8. You want to gear up for that. And then we'll have another precision prize at 7:23 p.m. That is the C.S. Davidson 1923 prize. So to celebrate the year of their founding, 1923, the organization that receives that first donation at 7:23 p.m. will receive an extra $1,000 thanks to C.S. Davidson. So those of you who missed out on the last precision prize, you can try again this time. And then we'll also have one more precision prize just to drive you all nuts, and that is the First Capital Federal Credit Union Match Minute, and that is taking place at 1954, so 7:54 p.m. That's in commemoration of First Capital FCU's year of founding, 1954. So at 7:54 p.m., all gifts up to $100 will be matched by First Capital FCU until that minute is over or until that $1,500 match pool is depleted. So you have about an hour to chill out, listen to some stories, and then you're going to gear up for a lot of action in the 7 o'clock hour. We're doing it. We're going big. We're at 2.193. We're at 8,600 donors. Chris, I'm psyched. We're doing it. Uh-oh. Okay. Uh, okay. No. No. Was I muted? Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh yeah. Well, yes. Yeah, we got it. Whew. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. 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 So I'm doing the whole thing over. Okay. All right. Whew. I'm ready for it. I got my nighttime gear on. I got my jersey on, so we can do this. All right. For the second time, and for the first time, for those of you at home, we have surprise announcements that we missed out on. So, and they're very important, so we're going to do it. So, Philip announced it during his slot, but I want to give him another shout out, and that is the winner of the White Knight High Five Prize, which went to one of the extra small organizations that received a gift between 5 o'clock and 5:05. And that winner is York XL. So congratulations to them. And then we have the 34 winners of the Maori Happy Hour match. So if you recall, from the 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock hour, Maori was matching all gifts up to $50 until their $1,500 match pool was completely depleted. And so there are 34 organizations who were the lucky recipients of that match. Here we go. Accountability for Life, Bridge of Hope, York County, Catholic Harvest Food Pantry, Children's Aid Society Layman Center, Christian School of York, Christopher Columbus Scholarship Fund, Community Progress Council, Eichelberger Performing Arts Center, Greater Dover Area Dollars for Scholars, Hope, Help for Oncology Problems and Emotional Support, Hanover Symphony Orchestra, Heavenly Paul's Animal Shelter, Cable House Presents, Keystone Christian Academy, Leg Up Farm, More for Furry Friends, Martin Library, Monpaw Railroad, Northern Central Railway, St. Matt's Lutheran Church, Sparrow Place, Spring Grove Area Scholarship Fund, St. John the Baptist Parish and School, Susquehanna National Heritage Area, Turning Point Counseling and Advocacy Center, United Way of York County COVID-19 Fund, Vision Corps, YMCA of York and York County, York Area Housing Group, York County Honors Choir, York County Literacy Council, York County SPCA, York Day Nursery, York Symphony Orchestra, and a Partridge in a Pear Tree. Whew! We did it.
Megan, if anybody ever questioned your energy and enthusiasm, the fact that you were able to go through that list twice because your camera guy is running out of brain power, I'm sending my deepest apologies from Greenville, South Carolina. I know we've got a lot going on and this is a crazy day. My hope is that that's the biggest mistake I've made all day.
Hey,
and if that's the worst
you're
you
doing
did,
great.
then hopefully that's okay.
We're doing great. We're doing great.
So,
all right,
Megan, we've got a whole lot of videos lined up here from some of the other nonprofits. We're calling this storytelling hour, so we're going to jump right in there.
Okay, sounds good. Enjoy.
So, okay, whew. Man, I'm sure Megan's going to kill me after that. I can't believe I did that. So it's time for storytelling hour. Let me see, Megan, do you want to come back on? Do you want to introduce storytelling hour or? Megan, we've got a whole lot of videos lined up here from some of the other nonprofits with all this storytelling. Okay, well, I'm just going to roll with it here. I think Megan's just listening. So we have a whole bunch of pre-recorded videos here lined up for you. I know that storytelling hour is generally a big thing during Give Local York. And we wanted to make sure that we stayed true to that event and to that promise. So we have a number of videos lined up for you. I was going to tell a couple stories, but I ate up my time by forgetting to press record there a couple minutes ago. So if you want to follow my stories, you can check me out at Chris Drubb on my social media channels, and we'll tell some stories over there. But we're going to get things started here with Rachel Robison. And she is from More for Furry Friends. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I am with More for Furry Friends, and I'd like to tell you the story about our first case. We thought we had this. We had each spent years in the animal rescue community, and we were frustrated how hard it was for the general public to obtain help and resources to help their own pets or to help community pets or strays. So we had this idea. We thought we could create an organization that would bridge the gap, help the Good Samaritans find the organizations and the programs that we knew existed to help them and to help animals. So after endless emails and meetings and a lot of paperwork, we were ready. We were going to start our nonprofit, More for Furry Friends. And then we even had our first case. So we were pretty excited. It was our first plea for help. It was somebody who had found us and needed our help, and animals that needed our help, and lives that we could save. It was exactly why we existed. So we had more meetings. We made a plan. We really thought we're going to be smart about this. We know exactly, X, Y, Z. We're going to go do this, this, and this. And then look, we're going to be started. This is going to be great. Our mission was to go survey this property where cats kept being abandoned. The property owner didn't mind the cats living there. They just needed to be spayed and neutered, make sure everybody was healthy. So they stopped having kittens and kind of stopped contributing to that problem. This was literally what our dream case. This is what we wanted to do. So we headed off. We were starry-eyed young ladies, fresh-faced and bushy-tailed and just ready to kind of save the world using all of this experience that we had. We had this. Fast forward to a few hours later, and those same ladies sitting around a picnic table at an impromptu board meeting, no longer starry-eyed. We were sweaty and dirty and laughing and probably crying a little bit too, because we were trying to figure out how we just went there to look at cats and see what they needed. And somehow we ended up coming home with 6 cats in carriers at our board meeting. How did it happen? It was like we had blacked out and some aliens had taken over our body or something. So I know I'll never forget what it was like. We pulled up to the house. We walked around the corner. It's this beautiful property, rolling green hills, just really kind of a dream for as far as an outdoor cat. It was far away from the road. It was lovely. And up this green hill, this little tiny golden kitten just comes like bounding up the hill. Sun shines behind her. It's like, oh, it's beautiful. I swear in my head, I heard, the hills are alive. And it was like a little kitten instead of Maria, like bouncing up the hill. It was magical. And then just plan went out the window. The second we saw those kittens and we knew they were innocent babies. They were young enough that we could take them and we could, find them homes and they'd be happy and safe. And I just started scooping up kittens. I just left and right. Saw a kitten, scoop it up. Saw a kitten, scoop it up. And this armful of these little fuzzy kitties. And as I'm doing that, from the other corner of the house, I hear my partner go, Rach, you might want to come look at this. And I'm like, armful of kittens. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound very good. So of course, because I'm a bona fide crazy animal person, I always have cat carriers in my car. So I make sure the kitties are safe in the carriers. And then I go and see what my partner found. And it's this young adult cat. And I mean, just half of her face, it was just gone. It was just this big wound. She looked like a zombie cat. Like she was out of The Walking Dead. Super sweet. They didn't know how it happened or anything like that. But I was like, how are we supposed to just leave that there? We're not. We couldn't. It wasn't in us. We couldn't walk away from that cat. So she came with us too. And all in all, we ended up, with the property owner's permission, we ended up taking 5 8-week-old kittens with us that day and the young adult kitty. We returned a few weeks later and were able to scoop up some more kittens. We weren't a rescue. This was completely out of what our intention was. But you see the need and you fulfill it. That's what we were in our hearts. We knew like we could make a difference. We could help. And that's what we did. We ended up healing that kitty with the face. She healed so beautifully and she was the sweetest cat and she found a great home. They all found great homes. And we were able to help spay and neuter the rest of the cats that were on that property too. So everybody was set and really mission accomplished. Not quite the way that we had planned it, but mission accomplished. I've always been a sink or swim kind of learner. So this was really, looking back, kind of the perfect way to really not even dip our toes in, but just to jump in and go for it if we were really going to do this. And it was really the day that we also we really bonded our roles and what we were going to do. Because before this, we were just friends with an idea, animal lovers. Yes. Lots of experience, but we just, a couple of friends with a good idea. And that day it really became real. We really became more for furry friends. And we figured out what our strengths were, what our weaknesses were, how we were going to work together. And we became more than friends. We really became partners in this. It was our calling, and we really came together and realized that we shared this calling and that we were able to help each other work within our community and make a difference, which is exactly what the initial idea was. It was really kind of magical if you think about it. We were just this baby organization. We had no funding. very little experience actually running a 501c3 nonprofit. We had few resources, but man, we had tons of determination, tons of heart, and tons of commitment. And we were going to get this done. And that's sort of still our motto to this day. You know, the funds aren't always there, but the determination is there. And if there's somebody that needs us, we're going to figure out a way to help them, because that's exactly why we exist. And, you know, we've totally got this.
The initial idea was. It was really kind of magical if you think about it. We were just this baby organization.
All right. Well, that was our first story of the night. Thank you, Rachel. We've got another story lined up here from Mina Edmondson. And let's get that rolling here for you. I like this story. This is a good one.
Hi, I'm Mina Edmondson, and I'm the director of Martin Library. I'm going to tell you a story today about magic. Will you travel with me? Let's leave downtown York and head up George Street and cross over the railroad track and cross over to Cador's Creek and make a left and go up the hill. At the top of that hill there's a park, and in that park there's a beautiful bandstand. At the bottom of the park there's an elementary school, and inside that elementary school there's a library, and inside that library there are books, and inside each one of those books is a little touch of magic meant for one special person. That special person became a hero. Let's call him Josh. Josh was that kid. You may have been that kid growing up, or your brother, or your cousin. That kid, no matter what they did, they couldn't do anything right. That kid whose teacher would move their desk into the hallway because they were disturbing the other kids. That kid who often had to stand against the fence during recess as discipline for misbehaving all morning. That kid whose name should have been engraved on the bench outside the principal's office because he could have been found there every day. That kid who talked incessantly. He could not sit down and shut his mouth at the same time. That kid who had all these wonderful ideas going in his head, but he couldn't focus on one thing. That kid whose hair was always disheveled and his clothes were rumpled. You know what I mean. That kid. Well, that kid, Josh, came into my library every week with his classmates, and we would sit down and we would try to tell the story. And Josh had trouble sitting down, so I would have him help me turn the pages of the book, or perhaps he would be the one playing with the puppet, anything to keep him engaged. Now, in the springtime, I decided to tell a story about Mardi Gras and a little boy who wanted to be a musician and play in the first line parade. Now, this is kind of a Goldilocks tale. So this little boy, he's decided, I'm going to be in the first line parade this year, but I have to find an instrument to play. So he's walking around and he hears two buffets. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, I'm going to play the tuba. So he went up to Tuba Fats and he said, can I play your tuba? And he said, sure, you can give it a try. And he took the tuba off and he put it on the little boy. The tuba was too big. So the little boy kept walking. And in a minute, he heard Wycliffe. And Wycliffe was in the backyard playing his trombone. The little boy thought that was fantastic. Wycliffe, can I play your trombone? Sure, you can give it a try. And the little boy was like, boo, 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 boo. Oh, the trombone was too long and his arms were too short. So he gave it back and he keeps walking. And then he heard Baby Dodds in the courtyard. Ah, Baby Dodds was playing a snare drum. Hey, can I play the drum? I've always wanted to play a drum. And Baby Dodds said, sure, take this home and practice. So he takes it home and he sets it up. And his mom came downstairs and she said, oh no, that's too loud. You have to take that back. So the little boy is getting kind of dejected right now. And he's walking around. I wonder what instrument I can play. I want to play an instrument. and his uncle was sitting on the front porch. Now, his uncle's the grand marshal in the parade. And his uncle said, "Come here, you're looking pretty sad. What's the matter with you?" And he said, "Well, I want to be in the first line, but I don't have an instrument to play." And his uncle thought for a minute, and he said, "I may have just the right instrument for you." And he reaches in his back pocket, and he pulls out a harmonica. And the little boy, it was just right. Now, you will not believe what happens next. Josh jumps up and he pulls a harmonica out of his pocket and he starts to play. It was horrendous. It was glorious. It was the most wonderful thing that had happened that year. It was pure magic. Josh became a hero for the first time probably in his life. Josh, all the kids were excited and clapped for Josh. We decided we were going to have a parade around the library. Led the parade, and each of the kids played their own instrument, and Josh played his real harmonica. The look on his face was absolutely wonderful. He was so excited, and he became my best friend after that. Now, Josh grew up, and I would see him doing summer reading programs where he would be doing STEM activities that had to do with the books we were reading. Or as a teenager, he'd be down there with the other students playing games or talking about ideas. Last time I saw him, he was in the library with his baby, and he was on the computers, and he was looking for a job. And he came up to me and he said, "Miss Edmondson, I probably won't be in the library for a while. I just got a job and I'll be starting next week." Whoa. So proud of him. Now, did playing harmonica in the library change Josh's life? Perhaps not, but he learned that libraries are for young children where they can find their dreams and become heroes, or students who can learn about life and learn about the future and learn to manipulate things, or teens who can get along with their friends and learn new ideas, and adults and families who can come into the library. Now, I've seen hundreds of kids in the library with that same smile that Josh had that day when they found that just right book for them. They found their magic.
What a sweet story. That was, thank you so much, Mina, Miss Edmondson. I know that she's watching in the live comments here as well. So thank you guys who are watching on YouTube live along with us. We're going to keep things rolling along. We've got several more stories to play for you. And I do want to apologize again for the technical difficulties. We've been running streams quite a bit today, so it is a lot. I do want to announce the winner of the OSS Happy Hour Prize. Let me get that graphic up on the screen so you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So the winners of the OSS Happy Hour, or the OSS Health Happy Hour Prize. Happy Hour continues thanks to OSS Health. $500 to two organizations, one medium and one large. One medium/large, one small/extra small, who receive the most individual donors from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. I know we were trying to announce this before and minor technical difficulties, but those winners are Catholic Harvest Food Pantry and For the Love of Dogs Rescue. So congratulations to both of you guys, Catholic Harvest Food Pantry and For the Love of Dogs Rescue. You guys are the winners of the OSS Health Happy Hour Prize. Keep those donations coming at givelocalyork.org. And I've got another great story for you from a familiar face if you've been watching our YouTube videos all day today. This is Stephen Martinez from the SPCA.
Hello, my name is Stephen Martinez. I'm the Executive Director for the York County SPCA, and I am going to tell you the story of Patsy and Chica. So Patsy makes a living driving an ice cream truck, but she doesn't just sell ice cream for people. She sells ice cream for the dogs, and she also sells doggy treats for the dogs as well. And whenever Patsy's truck goes rolling down the street, all the dogs in that neighborhood go crazy. They bark because they can hear her ice cream truck music and they know that they're going to get treats. About 4 years ago, Patsy was doing a route and she met a little puppy named Chica. And she got to know Chica over the months. And one day the owner of Chica asked Patsy if she would take Chica. Patsy would adopt Chica because the owner couldn't take care of her. And Patsy was happy to do it because she had fallen in love with Chica. And so for the next 4 years, Patsy and Chica rode around in Patsy's ice cream truck selling ice cream to all the animals and the people in York County communities. And then in the fall of 2019, Patsy's first dog got sick. And Patsy took this dog to clinic after clinic, getting a treatment. But unfortunately, about 2 months into that, her dog passed away. She succumbed to her illness. And then that was around December. And it was around that December time frame that Patsy started to feel bad. She didn't know why. So she went from doctor to doctor, getting test after test. And finally, in January of 2020, she got a diagnosis that she had cancer. And then it was around that time that Patsy got her cancer diagnosis that Chica started to go downhill. She was looking sick, she was losing weight, she wasn't eating. And so, once again, Patsy goes from doctor to doctor, clinic to clinic, to try to get a diagnosis for Chica. And eventually, she learns that Chica has pyometra, which means she has an infected uterus. And that is a very expensive surgery. And so it was this perfect storm of her first dog getting sick, Patsy going through all these tests and her diagnosis, and now Chica going through all her tests and diagnosis, that Patsy was kind of at her limit financially. And so she could not afford to have that life-saving treatment for Chica. So Patsy wasn't going to give up. She needed Chica by her side when she was going to go through these cancer treatments. So she went from doctor to doctor, asking if any of those vets would perform the life-saving surgery for Chica, and none of them could do it. So as a last-ditch effort, Patsy came to the York County SPCA, just kind of almost begging that we would do this surgery for her. And what she didn't know at the time is that we have a program called Karma, and Karma provides life-saving treatment for people's animals if those people are having a financial struggle in those moments. And so we admitted Patsy and Chica through the Karma program. Dr. Weeks performed the surgery, and she saved Chica's life. So Patsy told me this story of how she walked into the York County SPCA, and Chica's head was down, her tail was straight. And when Chica left the York County SPCA after her surgery, her head was high and her tail was wagging. So we are proud to have the Karma program and to be able to help people and their animals. We're also proud to know that we were able to save Chica's life so that she could be by Patsy's side as Patsy has to go through her cancer treatments.
Hi, my name is Heidi Storey, and I am telling you a story on behalf of Diakon Adoption and Foster Care. My story begins back in 2014 when my husband and I met our now adopted sons for the first time. As a foster parent, it's so exciting and nerve-wracking to get that call that there are children that need a safe home. And my husband and I got that call, and 2 boys showed up to join our family. on November 25th, 2014. So my oldest son, Jonathan, was 7 at the time, and my son, Micah, was about to be 2 at the time. So in those first couple hours, we're getting to know them, feeling all those feelings of a first-time foster parent, nervousness, trying to read the kids, trying to learn how to parent a child who's 7. We had a biological daughter who was 2 at the time as well, and just learning how to become a family of 5 from previously just having one child was something that we were thrown right into the middle of. So one of the most immediate conversations that we started to have was about how we wanted our Thanksgiving to look, because it was Tuesday and on Thursday was Thanksgiving that year. One of the most important traditions to me every year for Thanksgiving is participating in the Y's annual turkey trot in downtown York. So we started to have this conversation about what we should do for the turkey trot. And we pretty quickly decided that we wanted to plow ahead and have the boys participate with us in this annual tradition. We thought it'd be a great way to expose them to York City, York County, and just do a fun activity together as a family. So the morning of the turkey trot dawned very chilly. If you are a trotter, you know that sometimes you get some nice balmy 50 weather, and sometimes you get like sleet, freezing rain, freezing weather. So this year it was like high 30s, like around 40 degrees, pretty chilly, but not freezing. So we're getting ready to go out the door, and I looked at Jonathan. I said, "Hey buddy, we're getting ready to go. Time to put on your coat." And he looks at me and says, "Well, I don't want to wear my coat." And I was faced in that moment with having absolutely no idea what to do as a first-time parent of a 7-year-old child. And all these thoughts were running through my head about, should I make him? Should I not? Is this the hill I want to die on? Like, is he actually going to be cold? It's not actually that cold outside, and we're going to be walking or running. Anyhow, I tried to push him a little bit and said, you really do need to wear your coat, please. And he was adamant that he didn't want to wear his coat. So at the end of the day, I said, okay, you don't have to wear your coat. That's fine. Can you get your shoes on? And he says, well, I want to wear my Converse shoes. And I said, bud, you really need to wear your sneakers. This is a walk. It's going to be several miles. It's going to be a long time. I really think you need to put your sneakers on. And again, he was like, no, I don't want to wear my sneakers. I just want to wear my Converse. So horrifically failing Mom 101, I allowed him to leave the house in a tiny, like thin zip-up hoodie and his Converse shoes. So we got downtown. The race began. My husband, Tim, was running. I was back with the walkers, pushing a double stroller with the 2 toddlers, and Jonathan was walking alongside me. So we get going in the race, and about half a mile in, I'm looking over. He's kind of silent. He's not very expressive on his face, but he looks like he might be doing okay. It's pretty chilly out. We keep going. About the time we get to York College, which is about a mile into the race, I look over at him, and there are just tears streaming down his face. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, Jonathan, are you okay? And he goes, I am so cold. I can't walk anymore. He starts to limp, like my feet are killing me. I just want to go home. Can you please? I just want to go home. And unfortunately, I said, well, we got to keep going. Like, we're the farthest point away at this point from the starting line. We got to keep going. We're going to get you home. It's going to be okay, but I need you to keep going. So I called Tim. He runs backwards to us. We figure out a way to put Jonathan in the stroller. He carries a child. Somehow we make it to the finish line, get the kids in the car, get them warmed up, and swear off the idea of doing any sort of activity like that anytime in the near future. It was a pretty traumatic experience for everyone. So fast forward 1 year ahead of that to 2015, Tim and I are talking, and kind of in jest, we're talking about Thanksgiving and saying, maybe we should do the turkey trot. And at this point, it's become pretty apparent that the boys are going to remain a permanent part of our family. So we're having this conversation, and Jonathan walks by and says, hey, are you guys talking about the turkey trot? And I say, oh yeah, we're talking about the turkey trot, but don't worry, like, you don't have to do it. I know that was really hard last year. Don't worry, we're not going to make you do that again. And he looks at both of us and he says, "The turkey trot? I love the turkey trot. That was so much fun. I totally want to do it again." So the turkey trot is something that we have done every year since. I guess what started out as a very traumatic beginning was smoothed over at some point with lots of connection and affection and positivity, to the point where it's something that Jonathan and I enjoy doing together every year now. So thank you so much for watching. Please again consider supporting Diakon Adoption and Foster Care for Give Local, so that we can continue to work to find safe and loving homes for the kids in our community who need it the most.
Okay, thank you so much, Heidi, for your story there. And I think in my last transition, I forgot to turn my audio back on. Really, as Philip was saying a couple hours ago, we're reaching that brain mush hour. This is just a lot of content to be creating. But our next story is coming from Joe Kirkinier from The Y, another familiar face from today. We're going to get right into it because we're running a little low on time.
It's going to sound super cliche, but sometimes it's the little things in life that make a big difference. Whether it's a simple good morning or a little dog poop on your floor. Take my job at the YMCA, for example. I'm Director of Development and Communications, which is basically saying I send a lot of emails, have a lot of spreadsheets, and ask people for money a lot. So I was about 4 months into my new job, which happened to be my dream job, by the way. This job is awesome. And honeymoon phase was over. Shine was off. Still loved it though, but I was finding that I needed to quickly grow and adapt, and I was trying to keep my head above water. It was really, really hard time of the year. A lot going on. We were trying to organize a gala. I was trying to meet a grant deadline. I was to organize a golf outing. I was trying to talk and communicate with donors who have a lot of commas in their bank accounts, if you know what I mean. Needless to say, I was under a lot of stress. But one particular day really almost pushed me over the edge. I was walking to the YMCA, past Bob the maintenance worker. Now I have to pause. Bob is amazing. If you ever met Bob, his name's Smiling Bob, and it's for a reason, always smiling. Which is surprising because his life does not give him a lot of reasons to smile if you look at his past. He grew up in a single mother household, loads of addiction issues, hit rock bottom and climbed his way back up and came to the YMCA. And now, rather than sulking and being sad, he makes everyone happy. You know how he does it? Every time you see him, if it's before 12 o'clock noon, he looks you in the eye and says, "Good morning," every time. No matter if it's rain, sleet, snow, freezing cold, worst day of his life, every time, same good morning. And I got the old "Good morning, Joe" that morning. And I just said, "Good morning, Bob," because I knew what waited. The morning, I was starting to work on a grant, which was due that afternoon. 100 emails, a couple meetings later, I made no progress. But I had to go home and let my adopted greyhound out to go to the bathroom. By the way, I had just adopted a greyhound about 2 days ago, a week ago. Not long enough for him to be potty trained. So I go home to let him out to go to the bathroom. I didn't really need to go to the bathroom on the floor. I could have saved that trip. So I should rephrase that. I went home to clean up dog poop on my bathroom floor. Because he wanted the bathroom and did it. Because why not? Then I go back to work and I start working on the gala. Trying to figure out what fork goes where the seating is, who's allergic to gluten. Spoiler alert, a lot of people are allergic to gluten. And then that was incredibly stressful because, again, a lot of people with a lot of commas in their bank accounts going on that thing. A lot of persons working to make it work with their own strong opinions. All great opinions, don't get me wrong. I love doing it. It was very stressful, very crazy. So then after that, it's time for lunch. But before that, I gotta go home and let the dog out because I'm trying to potty train him. Go home, can't. I don't know why I keep doing this. Nice little pile of poop. This time on the carpet. And so after cleaning up some dog poop on the carpet, I start to twitch a little. And it's not even 12 o'clock yet. So I get back to work and I'm planning on eating lunch, but believe it or not, I didn't have much of an appetite anymore. So I just skipped lunch that day and I started working on the grant again. But then I have to go for a meeting with my boss, which was great. Got a lot out of it, but the grant was still there. So then I go and I quickly put it together and send it off, just making the deadline. But now I know I have to go and home and let the dog out. Bet you know where this is going. So he was 3 for 3 that day. This time it was the dual entree of sorts of both ends on the floor. So I go home, clean up the dog poop. Work's over. Still in my head though. So I crawl into bed after doing all the basics I gotta do and try and sleep. I wake up with the slight twinge of a hangover that was most likely the result of the 3 glasses, I'm not that bad, 3 glasses of cheap vodka. And I crawl my way back to work, doing the old hunched over Charlie Brown sad walk. And I walk in the door, thinking, how am I going to face this day and manage to work my way through this again? Then I see Bob. And Bob, a man who has no reason that I can think of to be so gosh darn happy, looks me in the eye and says, "Good morning, Joe." And this time it really hit me. Bob chooses to be happy. And he chooses to help other people be happy. And that good morning stuck with me that time. So I told myself, you know what? This is going to be a good morning. It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good life. My dog still poops on the floor, still have a lot going on. But you know what? I choose to have a good morning now because he chooses to have a good morning. And he doesn't tell me I should choose to have a good morning. He just shows how great it is. And so I went through the day again, and every day after that, thinking to myself, it's going to be a good morning. Every morning. All because of a simple hello from a great maintenance worker named Smiling Bob. And in case you're wondering, my dog still poops on the floor just about every day. I still love my job so much and love all the people in it. So thank you for listening to my story. And remember, it's always going to be a good morning. If you choose it, it will be.
Boy, that was a great story. And as I'm listening to that, I wish Smiling Bob was here with me. Luckily, we'll be rejoined here momentarily by Smiling Megan, as I feel like my brain is starting to melt here trying to produce all these videos throughout the day. But I'm going to be Smiling Chris right now because we've got 3 more videos to play. We have... Before I get into the next video here, just a reminder, at 7 p.m. if you're watching live, we have karaoke starting up at 7 p.m. in this Zoom room, 835-2235-7706. So we encourage you, if you want to jump in and be part of the karaoke hour, the Zoom room is 835-2235-7706. Let's jump into one more story here, then I think we're going to have Megan pop back in for a bit. This next story is from Diane Cruz from Theater Arts of Everyone.
It's 1987. Good grief, that's 33 years ago. How could it possibly be that I'm not any older? Well, that's another story. My name is Diane Cruz. I'm 72 arthritic years young, and almost 4 years ago, I started Taffy with a lot of other wonderful volunteers. Now, if I were to say the word lesson to you, what would you think of first? School, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that life will teach you many more lessons than you will ever learn in a classroom. This takes us right back to 1987. I was a freelance teacher for Arts and Special Education, Pennsylvania. They wanted me to travel all over Pennsylvania, working with teachers and students in enabling them to use theater arts in their classroom. I'm a theater person, and I love people, but I know nothing about special populations. They said, don't worry about it. If anyone can do it, you can. How could they possibly know that? What if they were wrong? But then I thought, what if they're right? So off I went. I worked with blind students, I worked with deaf students, and I worked with all manner of other specialities. It wasn't until a school in Center City, Philadelphia, that I really learned the most about all of us. It was a very large school, and I was supposed to work with all of the classes, and in the end of the whole project, I'd pick one class and I'd do a performance for the whole school body. Well, let me just share with you that the teachers were not too keen on any of this idea. And when I told them about the performance, they actually laughed and told me that their students would throw lighted matches at the stage. And when I had one of their classes, they used it as a time for a break, even though they were not supposed to ever leave me alone with their children. I found out right away and very quickly that I had skills that I never knew I had, because a lot of the older students were there with criminal behavior challenges. But I have to thank them because I learned an awful lot. Now, there was one class that they said I didn't have to bother with. But I was curious, of course, and so I stopped in one day. There was a teacher in front of the room, and she was asking questions. If one of the students was able to answer, she would throw a piece of candy in the general direction of the student, and that student would have to scramble out of his seat and on the floor go to find the piece of candy. To me, this was not a real good educational environment. So even though the teacher assured me that I should not work with these students, that it would do no good at all, I said, well, let's just give it a try. So I got all of her students on the ground in a big circle, and we started pretending we were animals, but without making any noise. As soon as they guessed what animal the person was, they were to raise their hand. We were going around the circle very nicely. Right across from me was a little boy laying down. And when that happened, the teacher, who was sitting, by the way, out of the circle behind me somewhere, said, "Oh, don't bother with him. He doesn't know anything that's going on." At that very moment, that boy slithered out into the middle of the circle. Every hand in the circle went up. He was the best snake I have ever seen. Now, you might have already figured out that I'm the kind of person who likes a challenge. So I'm only going to give you one guess as to which class I chose to do the final performance. You probably guessed right. I chose the class that I shouldn't bother with. Because it was Christmas, I decided we would do the famous Christmas poem that everyone knows. I would be the narrator. All the students would have a part. I made costumes for the tree and the mantle and Santa. The children made ornaments to decorate the tree and stockings to hang on the mantle. And then we practiced, and we practiced. Then the day came. I was so nervous, not for the children. I knew they'd be fine, but it was for the audience that my concern lay, because in my mind I still had visions of lighted matches flying through the air. Or even worse yet, what if they laughed at these wonderful young first-time actors? Well, the curtain opened. I began, while looking out of the corner of my eye to see that everything was going all right, and it was. Everything went beautifully until it came time to decorate the tree. And it was at the same time that the tree had become very tired and was laying down on stage. I thought, oh my goodness, what's going to happen now? I didn't need to worry. The children themselves simply got down on the floor and decorated the tree laying down. It wasn't a problem at all. And then they moved to their spots and laid down and went to pretend sleep and waited for the sugar plums. I continued on as though nothing had happened that was unusual, and it was going very well until the mantle forgot to move his legs apart for Santa to come through. But Santa knew right away he would just crawl on around the legs of the mantle. He did his thing and he exited. When the play was over, everyone applauded. Some people stood up, and these young children who were the performers and their families were absolutely beaming. And I learned so many lessons that I use every day. Thank you.
All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed story time with our Stories in Service, our amazing storytellers who were participating in Give Local York. We are heading into the 7 o'clock hour. That means it's time for the York Revolution 7th inning stretch. It's time to catch a second wind. You guys, the momentum is there. Everything is happening. It's going crazy. So from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. right now, starting in just a few seconds, all gifts up to $50 will be matched by the Revs until the $1,000 match pool has been completely depleted. So once the clock hits 7, you want to start entering those gifts because they're all going to be matched until the $1,000 is gone. All gifts up to $50. And then in 23 minutes, it is the 1923 prize from C.S. Davidson to celebrate the year of their founding, the organization that receives the very first donation exactly at 7:23 p.m., which is 1923 in military time, or the closest to that exact time. That organization is going to receive an extra $1,000 thanks to C.S. Davidson. So that's coming up at 7:23 p.m. Then we also have the First Capital FCU Match Minute. So to commemorate their year of founding, which was 1954, at 1954, so 7:54 p.m., all gifts up to $100 will be matched by First Capital FCU until that minute is over or until the $1,500 match pool has been completely depleted. So we have 2 precision prizes coming up. We have an entire match hour. So this is really a chance for you to get some extra bucks for your organization to make your giving go even further. And that's what Give Local York is all about. It is now also time for the Community Progress Council karaoke party. There is a Zoom link. You're going to want to join that party. It's always a lot of fun. It's one of my most favorite parts of Give Local York. I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty proud of my contribution to the karaoke contest. So you're going to want to hit that Zoom link and check it out because it's going to be a ton of fun. And we'll be checking in with you soon.
Thank you so much, Megan. And yeah, I can attest to the fact that Megan's karaoke video is absolutely fantastic. So again, we want you to jump in that Zoom room, 835-2235-7706. If you have Zoom on your phone or on your computer, all you need to do is open Zoom, click join meeting. Megan will be in there momentarily as soon as we let her off the live stream. I'll jump in as soon as I can. Megan, thanks so much for coming back. And I'm going to play the last 2 storytelling videos, and then I'll jump right in with the karaoke here. Man, my brain
Sounds great. I know. We're getting there. That's why it's 7th inning stretch time.
Cool. Man, I could do a baseball game right now, too. Thank you so much, Megan.
And a hot dog.
I could use anything right now. I'm getting there, too.
Get something to eat.
I got some Penn Dutch potato salad, and I got the pretzels that are going to go.
There you go.
The oven. So
it'll treat you right.
Thank you, Megan. We will see you in a little while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to play the last 2 storytelling videos here for you guys. Again, we do encourage you to join that Zoom room right there above my head, 835-2235-7706. But we do have 2 more storytelling videos to go. Anthony Keller is the next contestant up here from True North Wellness Services. Let's bring Anthony's video on here next to me.
Hello,
and
everyone.
We'll get to playing
My
that.
name is Anthony Keller. I am a certified peer support specialist for True North Wellness Services, and I'm going to share with you today my story on how I got through recovery and how True North Wellness was the catalyst that I needed to find my way and get back on my feet. So we'll take it back. It was about 9 years ago. 9 years ago. Maybe even 10. I was in and out of jobs. I couldn't hold a job to save my life. I would work a job for a couple weeks, a couple months, and then I'd find a reason to quit or be let go. During this time, I was having a lot of mental health issues. There was a lot of depression, suicidal thoughts, and eventually a suicidal attempt on my life. And between the time frame of 2009 and 2014, I was hospitalized between 16 and 17 times. Some of those times were because I was feeling extremely suicidal, extremely depressed. There was other issues going on, and it was just what I did and what I needed at the time to just go through the motions of escape from my current situation and reset and go about my day, and try and find a new job from the one that I was obviously going to be fired from or let go from missing too many days of work. What I found was the last time that I was inpatient was in 2014. And I just was getting sick of the in and out and the process of going into the hospital, out of the hospital, going through the therapies, the med management, basically just going through the loop of doing the same thing over and over again. And I was so desperate to try and just get my life together. And when I got discharged from the hospital last time, my then girlfriend, now wife, was pregnant. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be a dad, I need to get my stuff together and I need to start taking things seriously. So when I was discharged, I was released to a program called Progressions, which is a partial hospitalization program here at True North Wellness Services, where individuals can go for the better part of the day. They go in around 8:30 and then they leave around 3:30. And they spend the first half of the day processing about events that have gone on while they were out of the program, at home that night, in the morning before they came in, or any issues that they didn't get resolved from the session before. So that was the first half of the day. And then the second half of the day was spent learning new skills, developing stronger coping skills, learning about anger management and other types of therapy, like DBT therapy or dialectic behavioral therapy. Now, I went through Progressions for about a year, and after that year of really taking things seriously, I found myself wanting to look more into DBT therapy. And True North had a DBT therapy group where the individuals met once a week for 2 hours, and then they had individual therapy once a week as well. So I found myself attending the DBT group. Well, I attended the DBT group for a year and slowly but surely built my skills up, built my coping skills up, worked on developing a strong support system, which is my family and some friends. And I found myself to a point where when I was ready to graduate the DBT group, I was ready to start looking for a job again. And True North had been this ever helpful situation up until this point. So I found myself wanting to work for them. So after some time of thinking about what I could do, someone in the DBT group expressed to me that there is a position that was opening in True North for a program called Common Ground, which helped people get their thoughts on a paper before they went in to see their psychiatrist. And I thought, what better way to help people than to give back with the organization that helped me get back on my feet. So I worked in Common Ground for a bit, and then during that time I learned about the peer support program. And I found that was the perfect job for me. That was everything that I wanted to do. I wanted to use everything that I've learned up to this point and show people that just because you have these setbacks in life, just because you have some sort of perceived disadvantage, that doesn't mean you can't live a wonderful, strong, happy, healthy life. So I'm proud to say that I've been doing the peer support program for 3 years now. And I am, as far as I know, the first full-time peer support that's serving all 4 counties, Franklin, Fulton, York, and Adams counties, for True North Wellness Services. And I wouldn't be able to say that I would be that person today if it wasn't for the help that I received initially through Progressions and through the DBT group and through just this amazing, supportive organization that I'm proud to work for. So thank you.
That's the second time I've spoken to a microphone and forgot to unmute it. But I want to just reiterate what I was just saying here before I forgot to unmute myself. Thank you, Anthony, for sharing your story. I know that's not easy. And, to hear a story like that really moves you. It definitely moved me as I was here listening. And, a story like that, to take all of those experiences that you've been through and, channel that forward to, in such a positive way to make such a positive impact on so many people, I think is really special. And Anthony, I think you truly embody the spirit of Give Local York. So thank you for sharing your story, Anthony. And of course, you can support True North Wellness Services and all the other great nonprofits that you're hearing from throughout the day at givelocalyork.org. We have one more story for you. There's no video with this one. This is an audio-only story from Deb Stambaugh. So you're going to hear all about Deb and her organization here once I load this video on.
Hi, my name is Deb Stambaugh, and I am a polio survivor. It was August of 1954. At the age of 5, I was playing in the yard with my friends when I did not feel well. We took 3 trips to the town clinic before the doctor sent me to a large hospital 100 miles from home. Upon delivery, I was given a spinal tap, which showed that I had polio. I was then quarantined. My parents could only see me through the hospital window from the lawn. We could not have any physical contact. About 2 weeks later, I was sent to a children's hospital where I would begin therapy, which was called the Sister Kenny treatment, which was being wrapped in hot, wet wool, whirlpools, and stretching exercises. Mom told me she felt so sorry for me because the treatment was so hot. Today, if I smell wet wool, it takes me right back there. My parents could only come to see me on weekends, and they never missed one. They would travel 100 miles one way, spend Saturday night, and after a visit on Sundays, they would drive the 100 miles back home. There I would stay for 6 months. At some point in my journey, I was cast totally around my upper body, with my right arm at shoulder height on a bar coming in front of me. I remember a round hole in my cast. I also remember how it itched under there. After the casting came off, I was fitted with an outer brace. The purpose of the brace was to keep my arm at shoulder level. I was sent home on February 14th with that brace. My parents were told to treat me as they would my siblings and not to baby me. As I settled in at home every night after supper, I would be called in from playing outside. It was time to do arm exercises. I had monthly appointments for examination, especially watching my back for scoliosis. On one appointment, the doctor discontinued the arm exercises. They felt that the muscles in my arm would never recover. At one point, I fell down the stairs and broke my right arm. Another trip to that hospital 100 miles away. I was put in a body cast for 6 weeks, confined to my home. My school friends would bring my school assignments every day. When I was in 4th grade, my father was transferred to Hanover for work. I now was feeling people looked at me differently. The stares, the whispers. I got quiet and stayed in my small group and did not get involved in a lot of school activities. I was in Girl Scouts and involved in our youth activities. Bruce was a member of our church, and he saw me for me, not my polio. After high school graduation, I went to Thompson's Business School. There, I felt more accepted. Among my studies, I learned to type with one hand. Bruce and I were married in August of 1969. We had 4 children. Time marched on. At one point, I tore my rotator cuff on my left arm, requiring surgery. I had had various jobs through the years, but I was restricted now. After several years, I was missing being around people. And Bruce and I decided to open part of our home as a tea room. We opened 7 Oaks Tea Room. We ran it for almost 20 years. Then I started to develop muscle weakness. During that time, I decided I would look for a support group to see how other survivors were coping with this issue of the journey of life with post-polio syndrome. I could not find a group in my area, so I started one in this area with the guidance of the Post-Polio International. We meet every month when possible. After heading the group several years, I received a phone call from Carol Ferguson asking if I would join the PA Polio Survivors Network as Central PA Coordinator. I have been a part of the network for 5 years and still have my Hanover Area Post-Polio Support Group. I am among 4 survivors on the network. We work hard to provide credible information to survivors, their families, and caregivers. We also feel the importance to get information to parents to make wise choices to have their children immunized against childhood diseases, a choice that my parents did not have. There have been many challenges and changes through life, both good and bad, but all in all, I am content in my life and continue to serve.
Can you guys hear me now? Well, that's yet another disaster. This whole last 15 minutes here, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what's going on here. I don't know why that audio wasn't connected because I was not muted. But yeah, just letting you guys know, thank you, Philip, for the heads up, that the Give Local York finale party is going to start at 8 p.m. It's going to be live streamed to your home by Assorted Studios and Weary Arts Group. The joke that I just used a moment ago was, I can dig the word weary. Featuring Volume to Nothing, Ralph Reel and the Family Jam, Sincerely Spade, Eli Weary, and Boom Pop Coalition. That's going to start right here on YouTube and Facebook, I believe, at 8 p.m. So tune in, make your donations now to your favorite nonprofits and even find some new ones. Again, my sincere apologies for all the audio issues that have taken place throughout this stream. This was just an audio disaster. But we got it straightened out. I'm going to sign off before I make any more silly mistakes. Again, my name is Chris Treb, the Giving Day Guy, and I'll see you guys back at about 11:45 for our final countdown to midnight. I'll make sure the audio works then, I promise. See you guys soon.